This is my retail main Jeff. He was rolled on the Suramar server exactly 20 years ago to the day as of the date I'm making this video. So that was November 23rd, 2004. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about this character's history and what it was like playing in late 2004 and early 2005. And then I'll quickly fill out this spreadsheet showing my total time played over these 20 years and what percentage of my life does that add up to, which might be a sobering thing. All right, so a bit of a rehash for the few folks that might have watched the first achievement video I did, but my mage, DrunkJeff, was rolled late in the evening on WoW's launch day. And I was a Warcraft 2 and 3 player, and I knew nothing about MMO gameplay, but I still leveled up super quickly because of the insane, extremely unhealthy addiction I had to this game early on. So for most weekends, for those first 2 or 3 months, I would get home from work Friday evening and I would play like a 30-hour session through late Saturday night. And one of the things I remember very distinctly from those like weird long evenings was the crazy dreams that I would have when I finally did sleep on Saturday. And they'd be this weird mixture of like being in the game, but it was sort of like I was actually in it. And it was crazy. I know I did dead mines during that very first week or so. And I distinctly remember being in an early run and just dying over and over and not understanding, like, why do I keep getting attacked as a mage and killed? And I don't think my group, at least then, even understood the concept of a normal group, that we needed a tank and the idea of aggro. And it wasn't until I hooked up with like real old EQ players that I actually like got it. So eventually I did, and I did Mara on launch day for that instance, as a level 46, and that would have been like mid or late December. And I said I leveled very quickly, but like I got to 60 in like 5 or 6 weeks, and like right around the new year. So I was still in the first pack even then of level 60s on that server. And I know I was in the server's first UBRS run with 15 or 20 players on the day the first guy finished the Seal of Ascension, which is the UBRS key. And you could see my UI was like crazy simple, and the resolution was this like square screen. A lot of these early 2005 screenshots, I'm spamming arcane missiles on the mobs. I had a Soul Keeper staff that I got as a drop. I actually also had a freezing band on this character that I myself got as a drop also, probably the first epic I saw drop and one of the first on the server. And I got it from one of these deer things or moose or whatever they are in Ashara. And to this day, when I'm in Ashara, I still think of that and think, ooh, should I kill that and try and get an epic? I farmed Skolo with that realm's first level 60, whose name was Snowflake, and we'd bring between 10 or 15 people to Skolo and Strath just because, like, for us, it was just too hard to finish these places with only 5 players, and then you could bring as many players as you wanted, up to 40. There were a lot of bugs, and sometimes you'd bug out on a flight path and stay on the bird or do things like this. There was graphical bugs like this. I remember this exact Uber's run. The Ren completely froze during the encounter, and he stopped attacking us, and we couldn't attack him. We couldn't kill him, and he couldn't even get out of this room. So I think the run was over. As a mage, you would blink through the ground and constantly, and you'd end up just falling into oblivion. I've mentioned this before, but I was in that server's first MC raid, and it was technically a pug, but like all of us who were the first group of 60 sort of knew each other, and we mobbed our way through BRD as a 40-man raid, which was the only way to zone into MC at that time. And I think we might have killed Lucifron and Magmadar, and that was it. I had the Devout, for whatever reason, tier 0.5 chest before the graphics for that set were actually loaded in. So it was just this weird orange texture. I eventually made my way into the primary raiding guild on that server called No Quarter. I raided quite a bit early on. I did make alt characters starting in mid 2005, but pretty much always played this mage as my main through many expansions. At one point, I had secured the name Jeff on the server, and I was able to get a name change for that character from DrunkJeff to Jeff. And I won't get into it too much, but that sort of mirrored real life for me. And I was always really proud of the fact that I had my first real first name on my main WoW character. So I played straight through TBC, Wrath, Kata, eventually focusing on chasing achievements. All right, so you can see here, when I was chasing achievements, I got up to over 19,000 points, which was a lot back then. I'm in an achievement-focused guild called Over 9,000, so I've got a lot of character achievements from early on. Quest achievements, I was focused again on probably a lot of the early zones, so I would have got the like the Lore Master early on. I have a lot of these early zone stuff built out. Northrend, Kata, Pandaria. I won't go through all this. I'll go through it just quickly. Draenor. And then as you'll see is the theme, Legion. I probably have some. And then by BFA, I had gotten tired of the game and had moved along. Nothing from Shadowlands, Dragonflight, or War Within. Had a lot of the early exploration stuff, and I had that title, I know. I have not done any delves. I had some PvP early on, just trying, was never a good PvP player, but I was just trying to get enough of some of the achievements from early on. Dungeons and Raid stuff, a lot of glory of the titles from the early raids, did a lot of the classic stuff. Through Lich King, for sure through Kata raids, I have almost all of those or all of them. Pandaria, I probably did quite a bit. Yep. And then by Draenor, did quite a bit. Draenor raid, I've done about half of them. And then I'm sure Legion, looks like I did some in Legion. And for BFA, almost nothing done. No raids, no Shadowlands, and no Dragonflight or War Within. Professions, reputation. I had a lot of the early reputation built out. At one point, I had almost all the world events. Those have changed and had some of like the metas in there. Had a lot of pet stuff from early on. And I won't go through the rest of this, but even though I've just about done it all, my sort of claim to fame, and I made another video about this, I did have the old school ride achievement with my old mount, which is still something that I'm very proud of. I won't brag about it too much here, but the old white stallion mount. So anyway, around 2011, I took a break until Mists of Pandaria came out, which I played from launch for like a year. Then I took another break, which became my pattern of play. I would play at each X-Pac launch, then I would take a long break about halfway through and then come back for the next launch and repeat. And I did that through Legion. I came back for BFA. I leveled up just a little bit, but I just couldn't get interested in it. And I ended up quitting pretty early, pretty quickly in late 2018. I didn't return to the game until after Classic launched in 2020. And I started a new mage named Jeffries. And I would log into Retail Jeff from time to time, but now I'm just confused by how retail works. I feel like I'm so behind, it would be impossible to get caught up again. So he's not played anymore, but he does have 274 days and 18 hours played, which is the most on any character. But now I'll go quickly through all of my characters with any material amount of time played and add it all up. Second character was Elita, my first alt, who had 81 days played. Priest that I leveled on and rated on quite a bit through the first several expansions. My banker has 13 days played, retail banker. My second alt or third character was a rogue, Suspicious, has 40 days, 13 hours played. I rated on her quite a bit. My next character was my only time ever really seriously playing a warrior and tanking. 23 days, 12 hours played on her. I remember tanking through TBC. I tanked Kara quite a bit. By the way, these levels are all like post-level squish levels. So 60 would be the equivalent of, I don't even know what it is now, 120 or something like that. Not fully leveled up on these retail characters, of course. Guzzler was a low level, all 3 days played on him. Only time I really seriously ever played a hunter except for SOD. Jeffries, my first classic character, 125 days, 4 hours. I played through Cataclysm Classic on Jeffries. Kind of an interesting history on this character. Probably I'm one of the few people that actually did the paid transfer off to an era server of your copy before we moved into TBC. So that copy that's sitting on Whitemane now actually has a bunch of interesting stuff in their inventory and a bunch of quests ready to turn in because I was ready to level quickly once we went into TBC. So I still have like the Ani head and a whole bunch of quest items in the bank there. That character went on to be the Realm First level 70 and then almost the Realm First level 80 when we went into Wrath. I was not quite Realm First, but I was Gnome First and Mage First on that character. So I'm not counting the copy that I have here. I'm just counting the grand total classic played, 125 days. Jeff Frost was when I really got into Mage Duo. I really liked playing two mages at once, alt-tabbing between on two accounts. So Jeff Frost has 35 days, 21 hours played. Jeff Fort was originally named Home. I changed the name. I thought it was so clever to call my Fortitude Priest Jeff Fort. Got a buddy named Z Priest that instead would call it Jeff Fart, so I couldn't play that character anymore. 15 days played on there. My classic banker Launder, 10 days played. and then a few low-level classic alts that I never got off the ground, 3 days and 2 days played. So 190 days. This isn't quite adding up correctly. It would be like 192 days played in total classic. Then we move on to Season of Mastery. I played 2 mages as usual, softcore on Season of Mastery, but that was where the hardcore community really got going officially with the add-on first. And early on, I was like, didn't like the fact that hardcore was playing there. I didn't like the fact that they wouldn't group with you and they wanted you to wait for mobs. I thought, it's so toxic they're playing here, but I got interested in it. It got in my mind. Sure enough, I rolled my first hardcore character ever, Jeff. I deleted my regular character to keep the same name, got all the way up in my very first attempt to level 37 before I died to a griefer while I was farming Goshek farm. A rogue pulled the courier onto me and I died. I was in death clips and other things.
Oh boy. Just run away, dude. Run away, run away. So this guy's griefing him.
And tried to appeal, but I won't get into it. It wasn't approved. I never liked the whole appeal system. I deleted that character, re-rolled, did get to 60 on my second attempt. So my first character that was in HC Elite, my current guild, at that time you could level up in either HC Alpha, Beta, or Charlie. I was in Charlie, and then you automatically got into HC Elite when you reached level 60, which I did. I tried to make an alt character to play alongside of it. I died farming the Wetlands Knolls as a mage, AoE farming, shameful. I played on Jeff Z. I got up to level 36. And then I sort of just, that character never died, but I just kind of got tired of the game mode. I did re-roll a hardcore character on Bloodsail Buccaneers to try to play along with that second effort, but kind of got, I actually ended up dying and didn't re-roll there. I died AoE farming Knolls in Duskwood. 1 day, 14 hours played on that character. Then we move on to Season of Discovery. Took a break from hardcore and played this new mode. My main there, I ended up through several of the phases there. Got 33 days, 7 hours played. Once Incursions came out, though, I feel like they broke the game, and I never got past that and couldn't get interested in it. I did duo on SOD as well. My other alt mage was JX. I have 24 days played on that character. I played a hunter named BK, only 4 days played, and then I had, first time I used the name Jeffo, I had a priest, 2 days played on there. Then we got to hardcore official on Defias Pillager, where I'm playing now. Jeff Z was my first character. I got all the way up to 54 before I died farming Sorrow Hill to, I still remember it. I just didn't respect the group of mobs and the fact that they have Thrash there. If you're familiar with those packs, let them get too close and instantly died. It was such a bummer. My next attempt, I did get to level 60 on Jeff A. I played, it was my second character in HC Elite, but first one in HC Elite on Classic. I was only in for like a week. I died on the day that I was turning in all of my jailbreak stuff to get my Ani neck by stepping on the blue portal there in Winterspring and teleporting down in the dungeon into the cave and getting dragons on me and just getting killed. And I froze. I actually had a Petri. I could have Petried Alt F4. I could have done 100 things and just did not play well and died and deserved it. Rerolled again on Jeffo. I did get to 60 again. This is my current mage, still alive, doing well. And raiding. I made my alt mage, which was a farmer just to get gold. Jeff X died farming Zolfarok shamefully, but it was a disconnect, but still, you die. I've re-rolled that character again. I played SF for a little while, got to level 45. This character never died, but I just got tired of it and didn't play it much longer. I've re-rolled Jeff X again to have a farmer, which you need. Jeff X is currently level 47, 4 days played. And then my banker has 1 day, 22 hours played on there. And that brings me to my current character, Jeff, again with 1F. I played this character like overnight, straight through, got all the way to level 21 on softcore on Dream Scythe. But I'll tell you, I'm having like a little bit of like buyer's remorse starting on softcore classic on Dream Scythe. I've been so focused on hardcore lately that regular play on softcore again just feels like something is missing. I miss the sense of urgency in my own play. I miss seeing the death announcements pop up. And when I died for the first time at level 19 or so and resurrected, it just felt like off. So for me, I'll probably re-roll another hardcore tune instead. Jeff X, I have the name reserved on Doomhowl, maybe Horde for the first time and see if I can get caught up. And that's all just a distraction from my main prio, which will still be raiding on Defias Pillager, but I might split time. And that gets us up to the grand total, 763 days, 322 hours, 912 minutes, the way this is adding up in the columns, played, which equates to 2 years, 1 month, 16 days, and 1 hour played. And you can see sort of the breakdown now that this builds out. 56% of the time in retail, 25% of the time in traditional classic, and then the balance in these other mostly hardcore modes that I have here. So I asked GPT for some help. What percentage of my total life over these last 20 years does this equate to? And it tells me 10.64% of your life, which isn't too bad. I've taken multi-month, even year breaks within that 20-year period. In weekends like this one, where we just had a launch, I might play 80% of my life. So it all has equaled out. Not too bad for something that is a hobby and something that I love to do so much, like I know a lot of you guys do too. And anyway, that is my WoW story, friends. I have this deep old man nostalgia for the WoW old days, and I like to ramble on about it a little bit, but I hope it might be somewhat interesting to some of you. And of course, my question, do any of you out there still have a day one 20-year-old character? If so, let me know about it in the comments. And if you're willing to like or sub, I appreciate it very much. Thank you so much for watching, folks. Have a great day.